Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Chess and I have a little book haul to share with you today. So I only have about 10 books here and they are mostly secondhand, although there are some new ones sprinkled in as well. And I got all of these at some point over the last 2 months, I think. So I'm just going to share with you what I bought and add them to my already very full TBR card. I've got a couple of horrors to start with, and I think that's just because we're coming into spooky season and that's making me want to read more horrors at the moment. So first up I have Tales of the Macabre by Webb. And this isn't an author that I've ever read before, so I'm really hoping that I actually, like him. Because this is a collection of short stories. I picked this up because I thought short stories are always great if you're in a little bit of a slump, and also if I want to read something scary but I don't have a lot of time, then I thought this would be really good. And one of the other reasons I picked this up is because it says on the back, if you like page-turning frights, haunting revelations and feeling your blood run cold, then you'll love this. So one of the short stories in here is about 4 teenagers who go to a county fair to perform, but then everything gets a little bit sinister because they basically realise that they've been chosen for a very specific reason and everything spirals out of control. And then there's another story in here about a black fog that rolls in and basically starts causing death. And I don't know if it's like death by touching people with the fog, I don't know. It just says that the fog rolls in and death follows, and it's about 2 people trying to escape basically. So yeah, there just sounded like there was some, I was going to say fun stories, but like scary stories, but in the way where you can have fun being a little bit scared. Am I making any sense? So yeah, I just thought this sounded really good for this time of year. Up next, I feel like this one has been mentioned on a lot of channels, and it's Horrorstor by Grady Hendrix, and it's the one that looks just like an IKEA catalogue. I really wanted to get the physical copy of this, and I did end up having to buy it new. I couldn't find it secondhand. And I wanted the physical copy because it's got all of the illustrations in, and also because I actually did try to get this on Kindle a while back and the text on my Kindle was like navy and I couldn't read it properly, and now that I've got the book I can see that the text in the book is also navy. But yeah, it's got a lot of illustrations in, like the kind of flat pack, and I just thought it'd be a better experience getting the physical one of this. But basically, it's about employees who work in the not IKEA store that's very like IKEA, suspiciously like IKEA. I'm not sure if it's like a haunting or something to do with, a more human horror. I've just heard a lot of people talking about it and saying how good it is. So yeah, I'm going to give it a go. I will say that I've read one of Grady Hendrix's books before, and it was the Southern Book Club Southern Vampires Guide. I'm going to put it on the screen. Anyway, I've read that book and I actually hated it. Really hated that book. But I do want to give this author another shot because I feel like I might have just picked up the wrong book for me, and so I want to try this one and also maybe the Final Girls support group? Why can't I remember titles today? I don't know. So I'm gonna give this one a go. And yeah, hopefully I'll like it more than this Southern Book Club guide to Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Is that it? I suppose this one's more of a thriller, and it's The Girls Who Disappeared by Claire Douglas. And what I know about this book is it's like a fast-paced thriller horror, and it's about 3 young women, or 4 young women? Yeah, 4 young women. So one of them is driving their 3 friends home and she swerves and crashes into something. And when she comes round, when she regains consciousness, all 3 of her friends are gone. And it's many years later and they never found out what happened to those friends. So I believe that this book then follows our main character Olivia years later as she tries to discover what actually happened that night. So yeah, I thought that sounded really interesting, and I've heard that it is really gripping and really fast paced. So yeah, we'll let you know about this one. Okay, next up I've got a couple of mangas, and this isn't something that I usually read. I'm not a huge graphic novel person in general, but I really wanted to give these a go. This one is a BL manga, which I've never read, and I just really wanted to try. In fact, someone left a comment on my channel about how much they love BL manga and recommended some. Oh, in case you don't know, so BL is boys love and then GL is girls love. There's so many books available in this category that I didn't really know where to start, but I ended up going with this one because it's called The Metalhead Next Door, and metal is my favourite genre of music, always has been, so this just seemed very me. I thought if I was gonna give BL manga a try, this would be the one to start with. All I really know about this one is it's about a student who lives in just terrible accommodation, like many students do, and he is literally freezing to death one night. I think possibly his building has a problem with heating and there's a big blizzard on, and his neighbour basically comes to his rescue, and then we have a love story going from there. And I think the neighbour is like a gothy metalhead, which, you know, very much me in my teens, except for not a boy. And so yeah, gonna give this one a go. And then the next one I got, also manga, and this is 10 Count. And as soon as I saw the title 10 Count, I really wanted to try this one because I guessed immediately this is going to be about OCD. Full disclosure, I'm diagnosed with OCD myself, and I just always like seeing that represented in books or in graphic novels in this case. I'm guessing that the count refers to them counting, because it can be a compulsion that some people, but not everyone with OCD have, where you basically count repeatedly in your head to try and overwrite the intrusive thoughts that you're experiencing. And I think that the 10 Count also has to do with the program of counselling that the main character is going through, because it's like a 10-step program. And this is actually still a BL manga as well. It's just that that's not actually why I picked this one up. I picked it up just because I knew it was about OCD. But yeah, hopefully this will also be a very sweet love story. Although it does say that his attraction to his counsellor is growing, so I'm guessing it's between him and his counsellor, and that is very conflicts of interest-y. So like in real life, I think a relationship between you and your counsellor is probably not a good idea. Well, I'm going to put that aside. Okay, I have something completely different next, and that is another short story collection, but this time by Kazuo Ishiguro, and this is Nocturnes. I absolutely love all of Ishiguro's work that I've read, so this just seemed perfect because, I don't know, I'm just feeling like in a little bit of a short story mood at the moment. Like I don't know, I want some kind of quicker reads. Like I keep going into kind of like small reading slumps and then coming out and then feeling a little bit slumpy again. So I think maybe reading some like short stories will help with that. Honestly, I don't know anything else about this book. I just know that I absolutely love Ishiguro's style of writing. I love how he writes with such like emotion but also such restraint, and I want to read absolutely all of his work. So yeah, hoping to get around to this one soon. Something completely different again next, and I've already actually reviewed this because I read it as soon as I bought it, but still it is a book that I bought very recently, so I'm including it in this haul, and that is Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell, and it's illustrated by Faith Erin Hicks. This is just a really sweet Halloween autumn read. It's about two friends who work in a pumpkin patch, and oh, I should say that this is another graphic novel. It's just very wholesome, and it's very much, it gives you all of those just autumn feels, and the illustrations are just really nice as well. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much about this one because I've literally already reviewed this one just because I read it as soon as I bought it, so I'm just going to carry on. But yeah, if you're looking for a cozy autumnal graphic novel, this one is perfect. Up next, oh, another horror. I thought I'd done the horrors, but no, there's another one hidden here. Okay, so I mostly got this because I just love the juxtaposition of the very playful cover with the title of We All Rot Eventually. So this is by Mia Ballard, and I'm sorry, I just got disturbed by my dog who just came in. So I can't remember what I was saying. Anyway, this is We All Rot Eventually by Mia Ballard, and it's a horror novella, and I think that this is just independently published, and it says, yeah, it says she also designed the cover. And this is about a woman named Alexa who wants nothing more than to be famous, and she goes to LA to try and realise her dream. But then basically as her fame grows, so does the darkness inside of her. It says that the shadow inside her basically demands blood and gore, and that this is full of fame and debauchery. And then it says that Alexa learns the hard truth that we all rot eventually. Maybe it's gonna be a little bit nostalgic because it's set in 2005, which, you know, feels like it only just happened, but also was somehow 20 years ago. That's weird. Ugh. Anyway, next up I got A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, and I've been meaning to read this one for absolutely ages. It's about a magical school, except it's a lot deadlier than most magical schools that we see. So I think that basically if you don't pass, you die. And that is really all I know about it. I just love the whole magical school vibe, trope, whatever you want to call it. So I'm hoping to enjoy this, and I've never actually read anything by Naomi Novik before, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Next up is Open Throat by Henry Hoke, and I just love this cover. Like, look at that. So this one sounds kind of weird, and in the best way, because who doesn't love weird, right? And it's about a queer mountain lion who can't decide if he wants to eat people or be a person, which sounds super weird, but I've heard really, really good things about this book, and the prose is really interesting. Because it's written by the mountain lion and you're in the mountain lion's head, it's not written in the way that a person might write or speak. And some parts looks almost like a poem. The style of writing just looks really unusual. And yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna make of this one, to be completely honest, but I just thought it looked like a lot of fun and something a little bit different, and I'm expecting it to explore issues of identity, but perhaps in a different way to other books, because we're doing it through the lens of this mountain lion. Also, it says the lion is struggling with loneliness, which I feel like a lot of us can relate to. I feel like in today's world we're all supposed to be so much more connected, and you know, like we're all online and we're all speaking to each other, but also a lot of us are actually feeling a lot more lonely, and we're not having that same level of human connection. And I'm wondering if the lion kind of picks up on any of this, because he's watching over LA and what the people there are like and what they're doing. I'm wondering if the lion kind of notices that loneliness in like his own way, or if it goes into it from that angle. I'm not really sure. What I will tell you is that I read the first line and it said, "I've never eaten a person, but today I might." And I just really liked that as an opening line. So between the opening line and the cover and how different this seemed, I just thought I would, you know, just take a punt on it, see if I like it. After that, I got a literary fiction book, which is Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. And this follows 12 different women, and I think it might be broken down into like their individual stories, like chapter by chapter. I imagine switching between them, but I'm not sure. And I know that this is set here in Britain, and we follow women and girls from all over the country and from all different backgrounds, and look at the struggles that they face within the world, within society. This was the winner of the Booker Prize back in 2019, and I've actually been meaning to read this for ages now, but I just came across this when I was in a charity shop the other month. So yeah, hoping to get around to this soon. I also picked this up in the same charity shop, and that is The Girl with the Loud Voice by Abby Dare. And this is another one, to be honest, that I've been meaning to read for ages now and just haven't gotten round to. This is about a 14-year-old girl from a small village in Nigeria. She's been taught that she needs to just shut up and be quiet and not be heard, and she's also having to fight to try and get an education. And this is her story, and I think you can tell from the title that she does not in fact shut up, and in fact it literally says on the back that she will not keep quiet, and she is very funny, she's very smart, she's very curious, and she's really set on getting an education no matter the cost. And yeah, we follow her journey, and I've heard really good things about this one. Next up we have another literary fiction, and this time it's The Beekeeper of Aleppo by Christy Lefteri. I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right. And this is about a couple who live in Syria in Aleppo, and I believe that they are a beekeeper and an artist. Yeah, it says they're a happily married couple, he's a beekeeper, she's an artist, but then the unthinkable happens and they are forced to flee. They embark on a really perilous journey going through Turkey and Greece and eventually ending up here in Britain. And I think this sounds like a really important story, and with everything going on in the world, it sounds just very sadly relevant. It says it's a really beautiful and moving story about how they are travelling through the world together as a couple and how they are getting through this together and showing how they manage to support one another in spite of everything going on. I'm just expecting this to be very moving, and you know, at the moment in my area and in other areas around the UK, and I know in other countries as well, we're seeing a lot of protests, and around here we've had a lot of the far right have been out and they have been protesting, and they've been holding up signs saying "Go home" and "England for the English." And without making this too deep, I think that books like this are really, really important because, man, people really need to develop some empathy. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that the people who need to develop that empathy and that understanding will actually read books like this, but I wish they would. Okay, so I think that was the 10, and the 11th one that I bought I really think will interest no one but me. So I will very quickly show you, but it's the Antiques Handbook and Price Guide of 2020 to 2021, so obviously a few years out of date now. This is the Judith Miller one, which is one of the most popular ones, and I got this because I just really love antiques and hunting for antiques, and yeah, it basically just shows you all types of different antiques and their prices and what you can expect to pay, and it shows you what to look for in certain antiques and what makes certain items more valuable or less valuable, what to look for. So I'm hoping that this will be very helpful for me going to auctions, and like I say, I love things like this, and I love, even if I'm not bidding, I just love watching the auctions and seeing what things go for. I just have like a big love of history, and especially of certain time periods. I'm a big lover of Victorian furniture and Edwardian furniture and the Regency period, and just those time periods in general, not even just like the styles, but just the time periods. I mean, I don't want to go back there, obviously, like I would have had way less rights and just in generally life would have been harder for pretty much everyone. So yeah, it's not that I want to go back there, but I have a huge appreciation for those time periods, and I just absolutely love antiques, and I have a desire, if I had the money, I would be filling my home with beautiful antiques, and I would live in a Victorian house, and yeah, I would probably be no happier because, you know, we all know that stuff doesn't really buy you happiness, but I would be surrounded by very beautiful things. Anyway, that is all of my haul. I'm gonna have to try and add them onto my cart, save for the antiques one, because that's not really something you put on a TBR cart, but I'm gonna have to try and squeeze them all on. There is some room at the back, so they should fit. And I'm actually just about to record my TBR cart video now, so I'm gonna go and do that. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.